Hi everyone, I am Meredith with Soul Navigation, your evolutionary astrologer, and today we're going to have so much fun. I'm doing a little different kind of video today, but I'm going to give you the 3 most beautiful zodiac signs, my top 3 choices. Now, this is just my opinion after 23 years of experience, giving over 100,000 readings and really studying the chart. Now, I know beauty comes in all shapes and all sizes, all colors and all genders, and to each their own. But this is just what I've discovered. You know, there is iconic beauty, classic beauty, and I think these 3 signs are my top 3 choices for beauty. Now, if I don't pick your sign, please don't get your feelings hurt, because I'm going to show you how you can find your own original beauty in your chart. And I'm going to give you 8 techniques to find beauty in the chart. So let's say you're going on a blind date with somebody and you haven't seen them before. Or let's say you are giving birth to your baby and you want to see what their chart signature says about beauty and attractiveness. Well, you can use these 8 tips and tricks and techniques that I'm going to give you to find out how somebody's relationship to beauty is going to be. Is it going to be effortless and easy, or are they going to have to work hard? I'm also going to tell you about how, if you're not feeling particularly attractive right now or beautiful right now, what you can do with a powerful Venus transit. So this video is all about Venus, because Venus is the planet of beauty. Now, there's another planet involved here too, but we'll get to that when I get to my technique. I want to tell you, my last technique is pretty interesting, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it, and I can't believe it. I haven't seen anybody look at beauty through this technique, and I can't wait to share it with you, and it's going to be my very last one. I have to save the best for last. So the very first sign that has more effortless time with beauty, I would say, in the number 3 position, Scorpio. Now, why do I say Scorpio? Isn't it funny? I think it is the Plutonian part of Scorpio, and definitely the combination with Pluto and then Mars. Mars is our sexuality. So I would say Scorpio has the sexiest vibe out of pretty much everyone. Now, that doesn't mean, Pisces and Virgos can't be sexy, but Scorpios just got it on automatic pilot. And that sexiness that they ooze, that magnetic quality, is alluring and captivating and powerful. And most of all, it's magnetic. It just draws you in and gets you by the jugular, doesn't it? So number 3 is Scorpio. So what I want you to do is go look at your chart. You have to have your chart. Please tell me you have your gorgeous natal chart. And if you don't, just go over to soulnavigation.com, and for $10, I make you the most gorgeous chart. And you can follow along with my entire YouTube channel, but you need your chart. Wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, you are magnetic. So if you've got it in the 3rd house, you probably have a magnetic voice or a magnetic mind. You probably talk about the most magnetic things. If you have Scorpio in Mercury, you probably have a fascinating mind and voice, and it's probably alluring and powerful. If you've got Scorpio in Venus, you probably physically have the beauty of a Scorpio. So where is Scorpio in your chart? Leave me a comment below and we'll talk about it. I try to answer. I read all the comments, but I try to answer as many as I can. So Scorpio takes my number 3 position, and tell me where you have it in your chart. Number 2, I would say, is Taurus. Taurus is exquisitely beautiful. They have the most dewy skin, beautiful skin. They have the best mouth and lips. They have great cheekbones and like bovine structure, and they're usually really voluptuous, and they look a little bit like Cancers in the face. They usually have doe eyes and a more round, plump face. I feel like Tauruses never wrinkle, I just feel that they have this supple look to them. They're also never in a hurry like Scorpio. They kind of can have the Fabergé egg on their head and walk across the room. Tauruses are never in a hurry, and so it makes you observe them and have to come to them. And my number 1 most beautiful sign of the entire zodiac, I feel, is Libra. And Libras have a little bit more of a fancy, elegant quality to them than Tauruses and grittier Scorpios. They understand aesthetics to the highest degree possible. They understand fashion and design and color, and they're usually dressed so well. So they are fashionable, and usually exquisitely beautiful. So where do you have Taurus in your chart? Because that's where you will have or be perceived as having sensuality. And where do you have Libra in your chart? In which house? Because that's where you bring fashion and a little bit of glamour, taste, class, elegance to the table. It's a little bit where you're fancy pants. Everybody has these three signs in their charts, and that's the part of your chart that holds beauty. Now, what is it about Taurus and Libra that they have in common? Well, they're both ruled by Venus. One is an earth sign Venus and one is an air sign Venus. And that is why Libra has a little bit more of a lighter feel to it because it's an air sign, right? And it's in a hurry and it's the social charmer. And Venus, your attractiveness comes from how you ooze charm. I don't think there is anybody more charming in the entire zodiac than Libra. And I would say about Taurus being the earthy Venus is they fill the senses. Their taste and touch and feel and fabrics, right? God, have you ever gotten a hug from a Taurus? They envelop you with their essence. And they're also in command of their essence. And it is sexy and regal. Tauruses and Scorpios are regal. And Libra is sometimes a little bit oblivious around just how breathtakingly beautiful they are. So those are my top three choices. And I want to give you some examples. So starting with my number one choice of Libra, if anybody knows the band BTS, I do because I happen to live with a 14-year-old, Jimin, who is, I don't know, one of the favorites. All those boys are absolutely gorgeous, but he is quintessential Libra. And I think men who are Libras can be called beautiful. Also, Reika, she is so beautiful. Do you guys know who Reika is? She is so gorgeous. Leave me a comment if you know who she is. Cardi B is a Libra. Hilary Duff, Bruno Mars. Isn't Bruno Mars so Libra? He's Libra Leo, I think. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Kevin Durant, he's so handsome. Naomi Watts, Bella Hadid, Will Smith, Serena Williams, Gwyneth Paltrow, Bruce Springsteen, Usher, Hugh Jackman, Matt Damon, Snoop Dogg. Isn't that funny? Yeah. He does have a sense of fashion, though, about him, doesn't he? Let's see who else I got here. Ryan Reynolds, Nick Cannon, Avril Lavigne, Kelly Preston, Gwen Stefani. God, isn't that woman one of the most gorgeous human beings to walk the planet? Zac Efron, and the best jawline on a man that I have ever seen is Ezra Miller. Oh my God, go look at that jawline. That jawline tells me that he's got some Aquarius in his chart too. Hands down, best jawline I've ever seen. Go look him up. Now for Tauruses, they're a little bit more, I don't know, hourglass. Megan Fox, Uma Thurman, Melania Trump is up there. She's a Taurus. Tim McGraw, Kirsten Dunst, Janet Jackson, Grace Jones, Penelope Cruz. You can just see the sensuality in these people. Channing Tatum, Michelle Pfeiffer, Enrique Iglesias. I even think Chow Yun Fat, I don't know if I said his name right. I think he's so handsome. George Clooney, Pierce Brosnan, right? The Rock, my favorite celebrity crush. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yeah. Christina Hendricks, she is quintessential, iconic Taurus. And Rosario Dawson, wow, breathtaking. And for Scorpios, we've got Sierra, you know, are we surprised? Ryan Gosling, Julia Roberts, Matthew McConaughey, Sean Combs, Elsa Hosk, she's beautiful, Leonardo DiCaprio, Goldie Hawn, Gabrielle Union, Katy Perry, Mike Epps, Kendall Jenner, Sandra Park, Willow Smith, Emma Stone, Drake, and Michael J. White. Yeah. The Scorpios bring this sexuality to the table. So now I'm hoping you guys have your charts. Also, if you don't have your chart, you should just buy the starter package over at soulnavigation.com because it's like a 36-page report all about you. It is so fabulous. And you get your chart with it too. So you get your chart and then you get the report so you can figure out the chart with the report. But I want you to bring your chart to these videos so you can follow along and you can really learn. I'm going to teach you 8 different techniques on how you can find beauty in a chart. What is the chart signature for beauty? So number 1, if you are looking at your chart, find Venus. And if you have Venus on the ascendant within 5 degrees of the ascendant degree, and it's in the 12th house, or anywhere in the first house, you were born to be beautiful, charming, and persuasively attractive. Doors will open for you very easily, and you were born to be beautiful. Number two, if you have a Venus ruled sign as your ascendant. So there's two of them. You already know which two they are. Basically, if you're a Libra rising or a Taurus rising, you are born to be beautiful. Now, if you are a Libra rising or a Taurus rising, you got to go see what Venus is doing in the chart. And if Venus is in a positive aspect in your chart, you get a double boost. A positive aspect is if it's sitting next to your sun, or if it's in happy harmony with Jupiter, or if it's near Mars, right? If it's in harmony, if it's in elements that work well together. So look at these Taurus risings. Denise Richards, Serena Williams, Gigi Hadid. Is she not like one of the prettiest humans on the planet? Daryl Hannah, Miley Cyrus, Kate Blanchett, Halle Berry, Vivian Leigh, Pearl Bailey, Mae West, Elle McPherson. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Aaron Rodgers has this placement, and even Martin Luther King Jr. does. And he opened up doors that other people could never have opened. And those are Taurus risings. And then for Libra risings, Frank Sinatra, Kate Winslet, Denzel Washington has this placement, Sidney Poitier, and Leonardo DiCaprio has this one as well. John F. Kennedy Jr., and my favorite again, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Josh Holloway, and Idris Elba. He is such a handsome man. Jill Ireland, Zoe Kravitz, Rock Hudson, and Venus Williams. Those girls have so much Venus in their chart. So if you have this as your rising sign, it doesn't matter what your sun sign is. You could be Libra rising and a Gemini sun sign, and you have beauty as your chart signature. But go look and see, where is Venus? And is it exalted? Is it happy in the chart? Because that gives you a double boost. Okay. Technique number 3. If you have an overly aspected Venus, you will have a beauty boost in your chart. You will ooze charm. You will ooze pleasantries. You will be popular. You will be liked. You will be easily loved, right? You will be filled with grace and have high aesthetics, and you'll probably be super styled. You will just probably also really like yourself because you are admired. You are easily adored. You are easily loved. So what do I mean by an overly aspected Venus? Okay, this is what you do. You have to take your chart, and I want you to count how many Venus aspects do you have. So it doesn't matter if they are squares, oppositions, inconjuncts, quincunxes, conjunctions, trines, or sextiles. It doesn't matter. I want you to count up and leave me the comment below. How many other planets touch Venus or communicate with Venus, or how we say it properly in the astrological world is how many other planets aspect Venus. Let me give you this as an example. You can go all the way up to a 10-degree orb if you want to. I like to go to a 5-degree orb because I like those tighter aspects. You can do up to 10, but for this video, I'm going to do up to 5. So say your Venus sits at 10 degrees, and it does not matter which sign. How many other planets, if your Venus is at 10 degrees, sit between 5 degrees and 15 degrees? Any sign, it doesn't matter. Anything between 5 and 15 degrees is making a tight aspect to your 10-degree Venus. Are you with me? Now I want you to count up how many you have. Now you can do this a few different ways. You can just use the primary planets, or you can bring in all 4 asteroids if you want. And I also recommend that you use Chiron, because Chiron's very magical. And I also say use the part of fortune. So you can put all those in if you want, but you don't have to. And if you have more than 5 planets, if we're just doing the regular planets, if you have more than 5, so that's 6 or more, that's a heavily aspected Venus. And you can do Uranus and Pluto and Neptune, all those outer planets. If you've got 6, that is a heavily aspected Venus. And the more aspects to Venus, the more attractiveness and the more social grace you have, and the more emphasis you have on all things Venus. Now, if you have even some tense squares to Venus, it still is an aspect to Venus. And that means beauty will be emphasized, beauty will be worked out in this lifetime. So I count squares. So let me know if you have a high Venus chart. How many aspects does Venus make? Okay, now this one I'm going to tell you, my next technique, is an interesting one. I don't think it's the strongest one, ironically. It might sound like it is, but I really don't. It's if your Sun conjuncts Venus. If you have Sun conjunct Venus, most likely you will identify or be identified or be perceived as very attractive, charming, amicable, friendly, polite, graceful, kind, well-mannered, socially acceptable, whatever beauty is in your culture, whatever it looks like where you grew up. Beauty is also cultural. So when you have Venus on the Sun, you embody the idyllic social etiquette for your culture. You identify with the beauty of your region and the social etiquette of your region. And so you kind of can become iconic in your region, or you can become really popular and really well liked, and also pretty and beautiful. Now, this can be in any sign, it doesn't matter, but you now know if it's in Taurus, Libra, or Scorpio, you've got a bigger magnetic pull, right? But if you have this in Sagittarius, you're going to have the beauty of a Sagittarius, right? At the soul level, and then depending what culture and where you live, it will be expressed in that culture's ideal way. Some famous people with this is Misha Barton, Tom Hanks, Jane Mansfield, Joaquin Phoenix, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got lots. Even Marie Antoinette. Was she beautiful? And there's essence too, right? Like beauty is also your essence. Gregory Hines, what a gorgeous dancer. And Gordon Ramsay. I don't know if he's beautiful, but he has such a charming essence to him. Barbara Eden, you remember I Dream of Jeannie. James Brown. Justin Theroux, Robert Wagner, Jim Carrey, like social charm. Don't know if he's super handsome, but oozes social charm and so popular. Robert Downey Jr. Now there's a physical specimen that is gorgeous. Did I say Jimi Hendrix? But he also oozed a cool vibe. Linda Evans and Tamala Jones. That one's interesting. Tell me if you have your Venus conjunct the Sun and in what sign or house. Now I want to tell you, the second house and the seventh house are houses of beauty. So if you have your Sun conjunct Venus in the second house or the seventh house, that is an extra pop, an extra boost. Number 5 is just that. If you have Venus in any sign in the second house or the seventh house, there's a veil of beauty. So if you have Gemini in the second house with your Venus there, that is going to have a Gemini expression or a filter or a veil of beauty. There's a little bit of a beauty mark on you with Venus in the second or the seventh. So number 5B, because number 5 is going to be 2 parts, it's Venus there. But this is about Neptune. So if you have Neptune conjunct your Venus, you now have stepped into ethereal beauty. Massive ethereal beauty, infinite beauty, and you radiate with like a vessel of love as your energy, and you're mysterious in sort of a different kind of way. This is sort of like fairy tale beauty. Now, these people are so interesting because they can chameleon and metamorphose into their beauty. Oftentimes, they have a little bit of a flamboyance to them. They step outside of the box. They don't want to be ordinary. They're massively creative in their beauty. You know, they're the ones that are going to wear like their eye makeup like this, and it's going to be glitter and gorgeous, right? They're going to embody beauty in lots of different ways because they sort of figure out what is this person or situation desiring or wanting, and then they can become it. So they can literally transform the essence of their beauty based on what your desires are. So they sort of become your taste. And that's why the world perceives them as so mesmerizing. This is like the fantasy girl, the fantasy guy, right? When they're not careful, they can lose themselves into the image that you want them to be. So hopefully they have strong placements in their chart. But some famous people with this is Michael B. Jordan. God, he's really a handsome man. Jacqueline Smith. I follow her on Instagram and she's like 70 something. She looks 25. She is ethereal. She is timeless. And Sophia Loren and Bo Derek, Christopher Reeves, he was Superman, Matt Damon, Richard Gere, Demi Moore, Mario Lopez, Robert Redford, Hugh Jackman. I mean, these are some really beautiful people. Do you by any chance have Neptune conjunct Venus? It's kind of rare. Not a lot of people are going to have this placement, but if you do have this placement, it is a massive, it's an infinite beauty mark on your chart. So if you're having a baby and your due date lines Venus up with Neptune, just know you are going to have such a beautiful baby on your hands. Number 6 is really interesting, and this is sort of like beauty in poetry, like poetic beauty. And this is when you have Neptune on the ascendant. So if it's in the 12th house, it has to be within 5 degrees. So if you have Neptune in the 12th house, and let's say your rising sign is 10 degrees Cancer, is your Neptune between 5 degrees Cancer and 10 degrees Cancer? So it can only be 5 degrees away in the 12th house to count as being on your ascendant, or it can be anywhere in the first house. Anywhere. It can be even at the tail end. People who have Neptune on their rising sign, you can even call it Neptune rising. If it's more than 5 degrees away from the ascendant, then you would say Neptune in the first house. Otherwise, if it's within 5 degrees on either side in the 12th house or the first house, then you are, my friend, Neptune rising. Do I have any Neptune rising people here? Bradley Cooper has this, and he is a songwriter, he's a writer, he's an actor, he is so talented. Cristiano Ronaldo has this too, right? Just ethereal beauty. Jude Law has this. Stormy Daniels has this, right? So she can like play, act, if you will, the ideal and chameleon into whatever you want. Ireland Baldwin has this. Eddie Van Halen, Ariana Grande, and Marilyn Monroe. So this is quintessential, infinite, massively iconic beauty. And this is the kind of beauty that is like poetry in the soul. It's very seductive because there's a little bit of an ethereal quality here, and there's a little bit of magic with this placement. Do you have this placement? I want to know you. I want to know you. And are you artistic? A lot of artists with this placement. Okay, number 7. We're almost to my favorite one, number 8. And by the way, I want you to become a super supporter. Join our family. Come learn with me. And you'll get behind the scenes videos. You'll get your deep dive natal report. You'll get your entire forecast for the whole entire year for 365 days. So sign up to be a super supporter. The video is on my main page, and the link will be in my bio. It's just a couple bucks a month, and it just means the world to me because it helps me do all these videos. So I want to say thank you to my super supporters because I love them, and thank you for being in my soul navigation family. I am so grateful, and every little bit helps. It helps my small business. So number 7 is if you have Venus or Libra or Taurus at the midheaven. It's at the tippy top of your chart, and it's the line between the 9th and the 10th house. It is the doorway to the 10th house, and the 10th house is your public persona. So if you have the sign of Taurus or the sign of Libra up there, or you have the planet Venus within 5 degrees of your midheaven degree, either in the 9th house or the 10th house, just like we did that for the ascendant, you are so well received by the public. The public adores you. You probably have a following of some sort. Your community regards you as very lovely or very beautiful, charming, pleasant, kind, well-mannered, likable, highly likable. This is like a really popular placement. This placement creates popularity, and it also creates like being considered gorgeous in your line of business, or beautiful, or diplomatic, tactful, kind of conscientious here, very likable. You'd be probably really good at interpersonal relationships with a Venus placement here, or with Taurus or Libra. Now, if you have Taurus or Libra here, go look and find where is Venus in your chart and what is it doing? Because that Venus, wherever it's at, is bossing around your career. It's bossing around your public image. So is it in Scorpio in the 4th house? Because then that's how that Venus is sending its signal. So there's a Scorpio element if you've got Venus in Scorpio and you have Taurus or Libra on the midheaven, because Venus is the ruler for Libra and Taurus. So what's Venus doing in your chart? If it's in Sagittarius, in the third house, your public persona is going to be a little bit more bubbly. If it's in Scorpio or Cancer, it's going to be more reserved and quiet. So you want to know where your Venus is. So you can look for this chart signature, if you will, in how the public perceives your beauty. How does the public receive your attractiveness? Okay, here's my number 8, and I just haven't seen this before. So this one is a little bit of a secret. This is if your Venus is out of bounds. Do you have an out of bounds Venus? Oh my gosh. Well, what does out of bounds mean? It means when a planet, a celestial body, if you will, goes beyond the maximum delineation of 2327, and either north or south. Let's say we've got the elliptical like this. Well, these planets, they don't just travel around in a straight line, they go kind of up and down. And when they go outside of the elliptical plane, either higher or lower, north or south, and this elliptical plane is 2327 degrees, and when it comes above or below, even by 1 minute, it's considered out of bounds. How can you find out if you have a Venus out of bounds planet? Just go over to soulnavigation.com, and for $10 I make you the most gorgeous chart, and then you're going to look at those tables and you're going to see if any planet in your chart, but specifically Venus for this video, has a declination greater than 2327. 23 degrees, 27 minutes. And if it does, especially Venus, then you have an out of bounds Venus. Now, let me tell you about out of bounds Venuses. It doesn't mean that you're going to be like out of this world beautiful. You're going to be a little like maybe quirky beautiful or different beautiful. There's going to be something maybe a little bit unusual to your beauty. Maybe you are like covered in tattoos, but they're gorgeous, right? Or stunning or magnetic. It kind of matters what sign it's in. So if you have a Scorpio Venus that's out of bounds, it's going to be out of bounds Scorpio. If you have a Capricorn out of bounds Venus, it's going to be Capricorn beauty. This Venus operates at this radical kind of rebellious way. So it's like rebellious beauty, if you will. Think of Bjork, the one that wore the swan dress. Her style is so wonky and weird, and yet she's very alluring and very captivating and beautiful, but she's really unique. So she has an out of bounds Venus. And Rudolph Valentino had an out of bounds Venus, and he was just like, for his time, he was just one of the most handsome and charming human beings to walk the planet. Josephine Baker, oh, the beautiful jazz singer who wore, very erotic clothes and dressed like the most beautiful, sexy flapper for her time. It was just scathing. Look at Liberace, right? Like, he's wearing feathers. I mean, he makes Elton John look shy and introverted. He's just wearing feathers and a gold cape and, a crown on his head. He's so out of bounds Venus, right? Tina Turner. What the heck? Tina Turner. She's like 70 something wearing mini skirts and singing her badass songs on the stage like she was 20. Like, she's like mind blowing, out of bounds. And also Cher, right? Cher's been out of bounds her whole life, her whole entire life. She is so out there. Miley Cyrus, God, do you remember Wrecking Ball? That was just like, what are you doing, Miley? She has this huge shock factor, and she's so gorgeous. Judy Garland, I thought that was interesting. And Evel Knievel, he's out of bounds. I want to look at his whole chart. But I think he was so attractive to so many people because he had that bad boy, that recklessness, right? That rebel. Yeah. And Britney Spears, and she just holds my heart. I don't know what's happening to her right now, but she's definitely out of bounds. And she's out of bounds beautiful. I hope she finds happiness in her life. Yeah, those are the out of bounds Venuses. So the next thing I want to tell you is, if you feel like you don't have, a lot of beauty chart signatures in your chart, I want to tell you that transiting Venus and transiting Neptune can be gargantuan beautifiers for you. When Venus is crossing your ascendant, that's one of the most beautiful times in your life. When Venus goes into the first house, that's when you get more beautiful. It doesn't matter which sign. And then also when Venus transits the second and the seventh, because those are the houses of beauty. The first house is your physicality, so that's why we count it. And the ascendant is literally the way you look. It's literally this. The ascendant is the mask that you wear. So when Venus crosses your ascendant, it creates this like enhancement for beauty for you. When Neptune crosses your ascendant, it does the same thing. It creates that massive, that poet's soul in you, and it makes you so alluring. It makes you be able to transform and transcend your own boundaries. So if you've been wearing like the same clothes your whole life, when you get a Neptune transit to your ascendant, you're going to want to try on a bunch of new colors and styles and fabrics. When Neptune or Venus cross one of your personal planets, so your sun, your moon, your Venus, so you have a Venus return, or your Mars, that's when beauty is exalted in your life. That's when you ooze charm. That's when you ooze tact and diplomacy. And that's when the world perceives you as quite lovely. So those Venus transits really give you a beauty boost. And they don't hurt, because if you have to negotiate a deal and you're having a powerful Venus transit, you're likable. You come across pleasant. Also, when Venus is crossing your midheaven, that's a public beauty boost. That's when the public receives you as beautiful. So those Venus transits are really, really important. So where do you have your beauty placements? I want to know. Leave me a comment. Where do you have Taurus in your chart? Where do you have Libra in your chart? Where do you have Scorpio in your chart? Because that's where that part of you is what is so alluring. Do you like my Venus garden? I've worked so hard on it. I still have to plant all those plants. They're just sitting there. They don't go there. They're going to the front yard. But I worked so hard. I love my little garden out here, and I'm so happy to share it with you. And I hope you are wonderful. I hope you liked this video. Let me know. I'm going to do a couple more in this series on different subjects, but I hope you're wonderful. And from my house here in Seattle to you, wherever you're at in the world, let me know, where are you watching from? I love this international community. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, please hit the like button so this video can get pushed out. And also subscribe and become a super supporter. I'll see you soon, 9:30 a.m. every Sunday morning. Come here with me and live chat. Bye for now.